Exist function is actually works like a search operator in MDX query. How does it works? So normally we write a case statement and if statements, right, to see whether that particular condition or particular record exists in your data set or not, right? So same way the exist function will work. So now let's see with a couple of examples to understand exist function in better way. Now here is my first query. So here I'm trying to fetch all the uh, sales reseller sales amount for all cities, right? But I want to do some kind of check. Okay, so now the next check is only bring the city's information if that particular India country exists. Okay, now let's see what we will get it. So eventually we get the no records because the geography we don't have the country called India, right? So these are the six countries we have. So out of that, India is not there. Then if I change this to France, then it will bring the cities information. Okay, you can see 21 rows it fetched. Even if I change this to Germany, we'll get the data. So again, it fetched the 31 rows. Okay, and then even if I go further and type Canada, it fetch the Canada and the respective cities information. Again, look at here, 36 rows, and yeah, I'm not much familiar with the Canada cities. Yeah, Toronto is there, and Waterloo, Ottawa, Nippon. Yeah, so it fetches the data for the chosen country exist if it is exist. If not exist, then it won't fetch any data. It's like more or like you're using the in operator in MDX query. But this is the effective way of writing the statement. Not only this, so usually it works more effectively when you have hierarchies within your queue. Along with hierarchies, if you write the exist statements, performance wise, it will be good. So does this exist only works with hierarchy? No. So even it will work with your normal conditions. Okay, normal conditions in the sense the city and country now they are not in the hierarchy. They are the individual attributes. I'm trying to fetch the data. Now here what I did, so see whether the India exists under the country. If exists, then bring the city information. Since India does not exist, we are not getting any data. Now I change to Canada. So then now I'll get the data exist. Okay, so now you can see 36 rows it fetched. Not only this, if you look at the exist syntax, so first we have a set expression, then we have a set expression 2, then we have a measure group. So the check that you do in the set 2 is more like a reference for the set 1. Set 1 will be like displaying the results in the select column, whereas the set 2 is only used for the reference. Okay, and then a measure group is another way of where you can do the check. Okay, so let's take the example. Again, I'm going here in this statement. So now at this time I want to bring the all cities information where India and if they are exist with internet orders measure group. Okay, so you have the many measure groups on your under the measures, right? If at all the particular cities, the particular country, India, and the respective city information existed for this specific measure group, then bring only reseller sales amount. That's what I'm trying to tell to the queue. And then let's see what will happen if I execute. So eventually I don't get the data because I don't have an India country in my data set. Now let me change to Canada and see what will happen. So yeah, now I got the data. So because these data, the cities and Canada data is also existed under the internet orders. Let me change this to something else. Maybe I'll change to sales orders. Okay, and then if I change the measure group name sales orders, okay, still I get the data because that is exist. Then what I can do further, I can take exchange rates and see whether there is any linkage between the exchange rates and Canada country. Oh, okay. There is the record exist. Mm, what can I do? So which is that doesn't have any link at the measure group level. Let me check summary, sales summary. Okay, here also it does exist. Okay, but again, uh, so you can use this exist function if the particular measure group values existed for that particular specific attribute and specific set, the second set, right, where we use this is the first set, right, and this is the second set. If the combination between set 1 and set 2 is exist for the selected measure group, so we get the data, otherwise we don't get the data. Okay, so that's about the measure group level that you can do. Let me try different one, targets. Whether do we have anything exist under the targets? Yeah, so sales targets level, we don't have the city level information for the Canada. That's the reason you're not getting the data. But sales orders and internet sales, we have the data. That's the reason the exist condition is passed. Okay. Now, so the other one is actually this exist function only works for the within that geography. I mean within that specific dimension. You can do this city check and country check. I mean if they are belong to the same dimension. Let's say I have a product category here and geography here. Now my criteria is if India transaction exists, bring all product category information, right? So now let's see what will happen. You see, the product category information is fetched, even though we don't have a India country exist in the cube level. That means the exist does not work with the cross dimensions. It only works with the same dimension with different attributes that check that you can perform. The another thing is important thing is the side effect. I mean, maybe I call it like side effect with exist function. If at all when we use this measure group, right, to check whether that combination exists or not, that countries exist or not. So even though if you don't have any valid numbers and if you have a null records, but the combination exists in your measure group, the exist function will fetch the data. So whether it's a null or non-null, exist function don't care. So as far as the record exists, then it will fetch the data. That is the one thing. And there's measure group level. When you add the measure group level, this is another important side effect, second side of effect. Under the sales targets, if you have let's say 5 measures, right, out of the 5 measures only 3 measures are in visual for user, and the 2 measures are not visible for the users. In such scenario, what will happen? So the exist function only work for the 3 measures. Okay, whatever the measures that are visible for the user, it will do the check with those 3 measures whether the record exists or not at that measure group level, then bring the respective data. That's about that's how the exist function works. Careful, so that's the reason so when you use the non-empty function and exist function, you need to be careful how your data is getting excluded. Okay, non-empty is usually it will exclude the null records for the specified measure, right? So from their tuple records, whereas exist won't exclude the null records. It will keep the null records into the um, in your result set. That is, those are the two side effects you need to remember when you use the exist function. That's about exist function. Thank you.